it doesn't feel right saying this. Sunderland 2, Arsenal 2. The streak is over. 10 wins in a row in all competitions, over. 8 clean sheets in a row, over. That's 5 goals conceded this season now. Very petty of me to say this. I don't want to fixate on it too much, but we are now projected to not break that record set by Chelsea of 15 goals conceded in a Premier League season. That's a record I really want to break. It's one that we are more than capable of breaking, but we are now mathematically no longer on course to break that record. I don't want to get too angry about this match in particular. We were never in the best position because of all of the injuries. You have to respect Sunderland. The goals we conceded is too easy. They both come from pretty much pinning us back in the box. Just getting one in there and putting it away. I have to say, Dan Ballard, we gave you a career. You enjoyed that goal way too much. Granit Xhaka, you enjoyed that way too. Granit Xhaka, I will always respect you for the way you turn things around at Arsenal. But you went to Leverkusen, you claimed you went there and took 2 steps forward, yet you left after 2 seasons. You come back to the Premier League, to Sunderland. You enjoyed that way too much. I shouldn't be so salty. I shouldn't be. But it hurts when you've gone on a run, 10 wins in a row. Whenever that streak is to be broken, it will hurt, it will sting. This match stings. We are still in a good position. That's why I don't want to go too far. I don't want to get too angry, too fixated on this match. We want to understand that was not the Arsenal of this season that played that match. That was the Arsenal of last season. It's so telling, the fact that we made one substitution the entire match. It was Christian Mosquera in the 88th minute, coming on for Eze. Ridiculously defensive substitution, that one. And it's because we have no attacking depth. To be fair, at that point in the match, we were winning 2-1. So it's understandable. We bring on Mosquera. We try to short things up at the back. Make sure we go over the line. In the end, we didn't. Attackers would have come on if they were there. That was the Arsenal of last season. Looking to the bench. I said it before in the preview. The only attacking reinforcements we're probably going to have is Nwaneri, Dowman, Andre Harriman-Anus. The latter 2 of that have played 7 matches between them for the senior team. That is it. The other one, Ethan Nwaneri, is still only 18 years old. They are not experienced players at all. We do not have good enough attacking reinforcement because of all of these injuries. It would have been so nice. It would have been the biggest win of our season for me to go to Sunderland. Very difficult away ground where they've only dropped points twice this season. That was only the 3rd time dropping points with that draw. It was always going to be scrappy if we were to win. Did play some good football at times. The 2 goals, definitely the 2 highlights of the match. You know, it could have been the scrappiest, most haramble performance of all time. I wouldn't have cared. If we just gotten that 3 points, that would have put us on 28 points ahead of City and Liverpool playing tomorrow. We're still in a good position, and this is why I don't want to fixate too much. 26 points. So here's the scenarios. So Liverpool can beat City. They would go up to 21 points. We would be 5 points clear. City could beat Liverpool. They would go up to 22 points. We would be 4 clear. Or it could be a draw. City would be 20 points. We would be 6 clear. So the range is 46 points clear after 11 games. That's still something to be proud of. What we need to focus on now is the fact that we are going to have that gap still. Even if it's just 4 points, it's still something. It's still something that we have to build on. It's still something that we have to go and say after this international break, we're going to have so many players back from injury. Because again, according to reports, I don't know, this could change, but as far as I know, every single player we have out injured will be back, at least available to play in the North London derby on the opposite side of the international break, except for Gabriel Jesus. He himself is back in first team training, projected to be back probably sometime in January if his recovery follows the same time frame as Yuri and Timber. So again, let's not fixate too much on this one match. It stings. It really stings. The lineup is perfect, as full strength as it could have possibly been. We just weren't there today. I don't want to blame it all on the injuries. I think Sunderland, you'd have to credit them. Very, very good side. I do tip them for a top half finish this season. That is how well they're playing. That is how good a side they are. It would have been amazing if we came here and won. So it's not a disaster, but it stings. It really stings. It would have been a massive statement. I would have been so sure that we would go on to win the Premier League if we'd won this match. Because with all of the injuries, we still come here to a very difficult away ground, get the job done on our own terms, even if that's scrapping for 90 minutes, getting the most set piece FC goal ever off Gabriel's head. Even if that was the case, we would have still got the job done and moved 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League. We haven't done that. We don't need to fixate on it. It will be easy to fixate on it. Let's focus now on what we have ahead. Back to back, we have Spurs, Bayern Munich and Chelsea. It is chaos. There is not another international break until the end of the season. It is 5 months of club football. That is it. And we kick on. We kick on again. At the least, we are still going to have a 4-point gap at the top of the league. That is something. This is disappointing today, but we still have a gap that we need to build on. We need to go again on the opposite side of this international break with all players back from injury except for Gabriel Jesus. That is the closest we would have had to it. That is the best squad. Let me say this. On the opposite side of the international break, we are going to have the best squad available that Mikel Arteta has ever had at Arsenal. So we kick on. We don't fixate on this Sunderland match. Yes, it really, really stings, but we kick on. We focus on what is ahead. Some massive games on the opposite side of the international break with a ready, raring to go squad. Hopefully no more injury crisis. We kick on. We are still in the driver's seat. We are still the front runners in this league. We are still the favourites to win this league. We keep going. We don't let this one match hamper us. That was not the Arsenal of this season. That was the Arsenal of last season. We are putting that behind us. We keep going after the international break. Come on, you Gunners.